does the word networking feel cringe, ick, or just bring you out in cold sweats? Yeah, it used to do it with me too, until I learned a few easy things that completely changed the game for me, and I am unwrapping them today and sharing them with you so you can feel super bloody good about networking once and for all. You are listening to Unstoppable Actors, the essential podcast for ambitious, unknown actors with me, Louise, the Artistic Director of Standby Method Acting Studio. And for the last 13 years, I've been taking unknown actors with blank CVs all the way to Netflix dramas, Amazon Prime films, TV soaps and stage plays around the world. And every week I'll be talking with you and sharing how you can become a paid working unstoppable actor, because you 1000% can. An acting career is doable. Are you ready to dive into the episode? Something super exciting is happening on Saturday the 27th of April, 2 p.m. UK time. Have you got yourself involved in it? If you haven't registered your free place at the Business of Acting, Raise Your Profile and Book More Roles workshop, now is an incredible time to do this, because I am going to be delivering a full 2 hours of Business of Acting lessons that are very rarely taught. So you are absolutely clear on how to raise your profile so you can start booking more roles. There's a workbook that comes along with it, so you've got a record of all of the best Business of Acting exercises you've learned, so you can keep using them long after this workshop is finished. There's a networking group, and I am going to be sharing lots of Business of Acting exercises in the lead up to the workshop as well. I'll be dropping these before the workshop begins, because my aim is to get you getting cast more often. So if that sounds good to you, if getting more acting work is something you are 1000% aiming for, then you need to get your place at bit.ly/biz of acting free course, biz spelt with a Z. But if you don't want to type that into Google, and I can't blame you if you don't want to, just literally click the link under the episode. So I always used to get networking wrong. I used to think it meant that I had to get contacts and jobs there and then, or it was a waste of time. And that never happened. So it would perpetuate this idea that I had about myself, that I wasn't good enough, I didn't have anything of value to offer. Yes, I was a very insecure actor back in the day. I'm very open and honest about that, because I know some of you guys are as well, and hopefully me sharing this will help you feel a little bit better if you feel a little bit insecure as well. But there was another part of the cycle to this, and that was that I would put people on pedestals. I would think that they were better than me, they were higher up, they had more to offer. Oh my God, it was such a drain. Just thinking back on it now, it was such a drain thinking in this way. I remember going to this press night at the Royal Exchange in Manchester. So this was whilst I was taking my professional training, and someone that I was training with worked there and had got a couple of free tickets and asked me if I wanted to go. Obviously, I said yes, because I was like, press night, the press are going to be there. It's at the Royal Exchange in Manchester. There's going to be industry bigwigs there. Hello, of course I'm going. There was also a couple of soap actors there as well, from what I remember. So it just sounded super exciting. It sounded like the place to be, because I was very, very focused on getting my acting career to go places. However, when I got to this press night, I felt completely out of place. I felt awkward. I felt shy. I felt not good enough. So I am going to do a little exercise in this episode where I coach 20-year-old Louise, right? And I'm going to go through what I would say to her with the worries and the struggles and the awkwardness that she had around networking at the time. And if you have felt anything similar to what 20-year-old Louise felt, then you are going to find this so useful. So I would, first of all, tackle head on this issue that she had about not being good enough. And I would say to 20-year-old Louise, you are good enough. You are there being proactive. There are plenty of people in your year at drama school and they're not there. You're one of 2 people there. So you are good enough because you're being proactive, and you're also training. You are in the midst of training, so you are good enough. So you need to challenge this story that your mind is playing on a loop. Take your power back from this story. Oh, and by the way, There are loads of people that have these thoughts too. Loads of them, they just don't talk about it. So you might feel like you're a little bit weird on your own having these thoughts and that, because it's a thought, it's a fact and it's the truth, but it isn't. And if other people were a bit more open about their own worries and their own fears, you would feel more reassured. So that is what I would say to 20-year-old Louise about not feeling good enough. And by the way, I just want to throw in there that I personally always do well when other people are vulnerable and share their worries, because it reassures me. If they don't, when people don't speak about it, what happens is what happened to 20-year-old Louise, which is I get sucked into thought loops of negative stories and feeling like there's something wrong with me. And there absolutely isn't, because it is a normal human thing to think these kind of stories. So when my acting students train with me, this is one of the first things we do, is we get all the stories out on the table, and then everybody goes, oh, it's not just me thinking these things. Well, no, of course it's not, because we're all worried that we're not good enough. We're all worried that there's something wrong with us. We're all worried that everyone else is better than us. But no, we're all thinking it. So really, that takes the power back from these stories, because they're not fact. They're just stories that we've created. So if you're thinking you're not good enough, take that coaching that I've given 20-year-old Louise, and also just know we're all thinking this. I'm not saying now I'm 38 that I never have these thoughts in my head. I absolutely do, but they don't consume me anymore, because I know it's just a story. And I know at any point I can change that story in my head. I don't have to keep listening to the same one on repeat. The second thing I would coach 20-year-old Louise with in this networking situation is I would ask her to stop putting people on pedestals. Just because there are soap actors who are well known and earning a decent wage at this press night, it doesn't mean anything. You are simply taking a couple of facts of them being in these soaps, being well known, getting paid well, and you are creating an entire story around this. And you are comparing your chapter 1 to what could be their chapter 135. And also, you don't even know if they're truly artistically fulfilled in this job, or whether they've just got used to the money and that's why they stay in the job. But even if they are fulfilled, even if they are loving life right now, even if they feel like they are in the height of their acting career, you can't compare your chapter 1 to their chapter 135. It is unfair to you. You do not know what they have done to get to this place. You do not know the struggle and strife they've experienced. So stop putting people on pedestals and focus on yourself. Stick to your own path, stay in your own lane. It's such an easy thing to do, to put other people on pedestals, but it doesn't serve you. It makes you feel bad. It takes your power away from yourself. That's what I said to her. So if you're putting people on pedestals, just remember what I've just said. The third thing I would say to her is I would make it absolutely abundantly clear that networking isn't about getting jobs there and then. It's not about coming away with a ton of business cards or new Facebook friends. You don't even have to be the most charismatic person in the room to be successful at networking. You can be shy and you can be a good networker. Because good networking is absolutely, sorry, I'm going to swear, it's fuck all to do with what you are doing there and then. It's about the follow-up. It is about the follow-up, and you can only be good at follow-ups if you've built a good connection in the first place. So I want to give you 2 examples. I'm going to give you an example of how I've networked, not even in a networking situation, which, by the way, you don't even need to be going to press nights or networking events to network. You're networking all the time as an actor. Every time you come into contact with someone who's in the acting industry, even if it's at a social event, you're networking. But I don't even want you to think about the word networking, because that can put too much pressure on yourself. So I'm going to give you an example of 2 film directors who I worked with recently, and yes, I had to audition for them, even though I already knew them. So I can't remember how long ago this was, but a few years ago, I had put some business cards, not even for me as an actress, I'd put some business cards around Sheffield, where I live, in some cafes, for me as a method acting coach. I didn't know that I'd put one of these business cards in a cafe where another film director went. And he picked it up and saw it, and he asked me if I wanted to go in for a meeting. if I just wanted to meet him, just informal, casual. So I said, yeah. And it was literally just for him to learn about me, for me to learn about him, and just so we were on each other's radars. Literally, that was it. That was literally it. There was no like we're expecting to get work out of one another. There were no expectations. And I think that's a big thing you need to remember with networking. Go in with zero expectations and just making a connection. That's it. What I didn't realise is that meeting with him would then lead to opportunities further down the line, because he then knew these two directors who I've now worked with on a film, but I didn't initially work with them as an actress. He put me in touch with them because they were looking for an acting coach. They wanted method acting specifically. And so this other director who picked up my business card knew this, and he said, oh, Louise does this. So then I went in and I think I delivered maybe 2 workshops on method acting for them, and that was it. But of course, that is still networking, because it's me making a connection with them. So I put everything into these method acting workshops that I did for their actors. I went above and beyond. I wanted to give a good impression. I wanted to deliver something very valuable to their acting students, their actors, and I wanted it to be a good experience for everyone. I had no idea this was going to later down the line turn into me auditioning for them. So I gave them a good experience. I know that because they told me. That was that. And I thought nothing more of it. Then, well, what happened? I think it might have been years later. I can't remember the exact timeline, and it's kind of irrelevant. Well, it's not irrelevant, actually, because it's a good example for you. I think it was a few years later. They reached out to me and they were like, Louise, we've got a film that we're doing. Can we have a meeting with you about it? Because we need to find very specific actors. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So again, I'm networking with them in this meeting, but not thinking about it as networking. I was just listening to them, what they needed. Again, I had no ideas that this was going to lead to me getting cast in that film. So I listened to them, listened to what they needed, and I was like, yeah, I think I can put you in touch with some actors who fulfill what you're looking for them to audition for you. And then I was really cheeky because I did have a relationship with them. I said to them, and how would you feel about me applying for this and auditioning for you? Is that something you'd be open to? And they said, yeah. So I did it the proper way. I didn't just get cast in the film just because I know them and I've worked with them. I sent off my cover letter like I always do. I then prepped the audition. I went in and I auditioned for them and I got cast. So networking doesn't have to be something that happens there and then. It can be a build-up over time. And this is why it's important that you're getting out and meeting as many people in the industry as you can, but you're not thinking about it as in, I need to get a job there and then. You're just thinking about giving these people a good experience with you. You're building connections, you're building friendships, really. That's what networking is. So that's the first story. And then the next one is, actually, it comes off the back of this film. So I did this film. We shot it in Penistone. I had such a good time. And I have become really good friends with the sound recordist. So I'm a chatterbox. I'm not shy about talking to people. So one day in the break, I can't remember what I asked the sound recordist. I asked him a question and then it just opened up this entire conversation, because at the time we were both going through a breakup. So this is how we connected, okay? We connected through going through a breakup, and we have become really, really good friends. And I now class him as one of my close friends. And so we were talking all about this, and because we connected and made a good friendship, I now go to networking events with him, and he's introduced me to way more people that I didn't even know about. But I never went into that conversation when I asked him the question thinking, oh, I've got something to gain from this. I went into it interested in him, and then this friendship has formed, and now I'm meeting all these other directors and film people because of that. So you've got to see networking as either like dating or like building up friendships. You don't go into date one expecting a marriage proposal. So don't go into networking expecting to get cast. It's a slow burner, but it's very, very effective. And there are things that you can do, especially if you're shy like I used to be. And here are some of the things that you can do. You can ask the other person about themselves. It doesn't even need to be about acting. It doesn't need to be about the film industry, the theatre industry. Maybe they've got a nice jumper on. Compliment them on it. Be present with them so that you can then follow the conversation naturally instead of being stuck in your head, because that is what tends to happen. We get stuck in our own heads, and that little voice tells us that you're boring, you sound stupid, there's nothing more to say, or that you need to get a job or an audition from this. And then you just can't make a connection because the only thing that you're connecting to is the story in your head. That can't give you an audition. that can't build out your networks, that story in your head. So be present. So I hope this has helped you. I hope it's been inspiring and thoughtful. I hope me sharing my experiences with you reassures you as well. If it has, please rate this episode and then go and claim your free place at the Business of Acting workshop on Saturday the 27th of April, because I've got so much more that I can share with you, and I've got so many more practical exercises for you as well. And I'm going to be recording the class. So you're going to get the recording after it's finished, and that'll be available for 72 hours to watch too, so you can keep going back over the exercises as many times as you want, and that link is underneath the episode. I will see you in the workshop. I've absolutely loved hanging out with you, and I really hope you found this episode inspiring. If you have, please do rate the podcast and hit follow so you never miss an episode, and I can help more actors like you. And come and join one of the most supportive, uplifting acting communities on socials, the Unstoppable Actors Facebook group, where you'll get your weekly injection of inspiration, networking, and receive your free Method Actors Handbook so you can become an unstoppable actor.